I have a question for you. Do you know your great-grandparents' names? Hi, I'm attorney Paul Bernstein, and in today's video we're going to talk about dynasty trusts. Some people have heard of the term, some haven't. Many people don't really understand dynasty trusts, so I'm hoping that today's video you'll have a greater understanding of the great opportunity that a dynasty trust might provide you and your family. So what is a dynasty trust? That is a trust where a sum of funds and what would normally go as an inheritance is set aside in a trust that is there to last for multiple generations. And what happens is typically the principal, the funds in the trust, stay in the trust, create income, and that income is distributed to the beneficiaries. So let's talk about an example. Let's say one of your great-grandparents had created a dynasty trust, and everyone's background is different. Some people come from more affluent families than others, but let's say for most people didn't come from generational wealth. So let's talk about the fact that if your great-grandparents did this, that your grandparents on one side at around 45 to 50 years old started to receive an income stream year in and year out for the remainder of their life. And let's say that income stream, although it fluctuated over time, averaged out to create an additional resource of $25,000 per year. How would their life have been different if they had this financial resource coming to them year in and year out? What decisions would they be able to make now that they have more financial resources? How would their lives have been improved? Would they have moved to a better neighborhood? Would that have allowed your parents to go be educated differently possibly? And what other opportunities would have been available to your grandparents? And let's not just your grandparents, let's say your grandparents and their sibling. So now we have two sets, all coming from a great-grandparent who are receiving $25,000 a year, year in, year out. Much more opportunity with that income stream. And now let's say your parents at that same age started receiving, that 45 to 50 years old, maybe 55, started receiving an income stream that averaged out to be $40,000 a year, year in and year out. They've already had an improved life because their parents had an increase of income. How would their lives be different if your parents and their siblings and their cousins all started getting this increased $40,000 income stream year in and year out? What could they do to even elevate their already improved life? And how would that have impacted you? Would you have grown up in a better neighborhood? Would you have had resources because of your parents getting this income stream that you otherwise wasn't available to you? Now, let's say when you turned that 45 to 50, somewhere in there, started getting a guaranteed income stream that for the rest of your life that averaged to be about $60,000 year in and year out. Your life's already been improved doublefold, twofold. Is doublefold even a word? Twofold, because of what your parents and grandparents were receiving. Now you have an additional income stream of $60,000, and not just you, your siblings and all your cousins and second cousins were receiving this. How would the overall family's lives be better, be improved by that amazing wealth increase, that income stream, that fewer financial burdens on everybody? And now let's say your children, when they hit that same age range, all started receiving about $95,000 a year. How would everything be improved? Be threefold now, because now we've gone from grandparents, improved lives, parents, improved lives, your lives improves, down to your children's lives. And let's say those children of yours were getting these checks year in and year out, and it had their great great-grandparents' names on the check. Do you think they would know their great-grandparents' names? Do you think you would know their names? So that's a dynasty trust. And that's if there was $1 million in that trust. So if you were to create a dynasty trust, put $1 million in there, and it was strictly there to pay income out to family or act as an emergency fund for certain family members to be able to borrow from, and it lasted those 4 generations. Think about how every generation, starting with your children, to your grandchildren, to your great-grandchildren, and even possibly beyond that, how all their lives would be improved by alleviating some of the financial burden by providing them this guaranteed income stream that goes across, not just downward, but also horizontally each generation as they expand. Pretty amazing opportunity with the Dynasty Trust. If you think this might be right for you, we'd love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to us. We're the Bernstein Law Group. Our contact information is below. If you live in Massachusetts, you think this might be right for you, we'd love to hear from you once again. I hope this was informative for you, and if you have any other questions about estate planning, feel free to reach out. Thank you.